Hello everyone, very good morning once again, and welcome back to the live safari at Tadoba Andhari Tiger Reserve. In our previous episodes, we've been showcasing you more about the wildlife and also a little bit about the history of Tadoba. And today we are back again on a chilly morning, and it's rained last night. We can see the drizzles on the ground, and the soil is still wet. There's not much of action as of now happening. So we're just waiting for the sun to come up. So we'll go towards the Jamni village and Jamni school, and we'll see what's happening there. If we can find something interesting. We have reached the Jamni meadows right now, and the sky is open up, the sun is coming out, and it looks like a very beautiful morning. We also have a few spotted deer running around, so we'll see how things go, and we'll catch up with something interesting.
The deers peacefully grazing. April is a rutting time for spotted deers. At a distance you can hear the rutting call of the male spotted deer looking for a prospective mate.
Let's take a closer look at the herd. It all looks like the bachelor herd. Seems like all the males have congregated together. While taking a closer look, we understood that these spotted deer males have come together, and they have been getting into fights, and these fights sometimes are very lenient, but then sometimes gets very harsh at times. So these spotted deers, they all have come at one point where there are a few sub-adults, there are some large adults, so they all are getting into their fighting mood early in the morning, and you can still listen to the rutting call of the spotted deer at the distance. Maybe that male, who was a dominant one, has pushed these spotted deer away from the females.
Jamni meadows.
We have just crossed the meadows, what we call as the Jamni meadows, and we are heading towards a water body called 97. Well, in the summers, since there's a lot of the sparse jungle, there is a high possibility of seeing tiger very close to the water holes. So our prime initiative would be the water bodies. But what's more interesting also, apart from big cats and tigers, are the small things that we see in the jungle, like the langurs. These are some very interesting animals that we find in the park, and also some of the most vibrant and colorful flowers, what we see in the summers.
Have you heard of wild guava? It is also called as kumbi. Kumbi is a medium-sized deciduous tree. the leaves of which turn red in cold season. Flowers appear in March and April when trees are without leaves. It is a fire resistant species. Wild pigs are very fond of the bark, and you can also see that the monkey is foraging on the flowers and fruits. The medicinal values are the bark of the tree and flowers have astringent properties.
So very similar to the maua tree, this is the kumbi flower. It also blooms during the summer times. You can see my friend foraging on it. It also attracts beautiful birds and it's got lovely fragrance.
After enjoying the sight of the Kumbi flowers, we are heading towards the Waterhole 97. Well, for most of you who have already visited Tadoba, you might be knowing 97 water body is one of the prime hotspots for the tigers, especially in the summers. So we just guess, or we are also hoping to see a tiger, maybe because it's getting a little warmer in the day. So we are heading towards the water body and we might expect to see a tiger there. And well, we're just trying our luck. So fingers crossed. Here we have an interesting bird. It looks very common, like a chicken, but it's called as a grey jungle fowl. This is a male grey jungle fowl, and they are right now in their bright breeding plumage because this is the time when they have to show off. You see the neck with the spots, those feathers, they are more vibrant and more colorful at this point of time because this is the time when they breed. So usually these jungle fowls, they feed upon the bamboo seeds and also they feed on smaller other grains. They also go for the termites and other insects on the floor. They are as busy as a chicken, so they are always trying to scratch the ground and scrape it and finally looking for termites and then they eat it. So after the jungle fowl, we are heading back towards the Pandurpani water body. So this is one of the water bodies where we are expecting to see a lot more animals, and this is more like the closest and one of the largest water body where you get to see hundreds of deer which come to quench their thirst. So these deer have like what we saw in the morning are the females. So in the morning we had seen the bachelors or the males together. So this is a herd of female spotted deer. So you can also see that they don't have any antlers on them. There are tiny little fawns also accompanying the mothers, and these deers, and they've just quenched the thirst and they're getting back into the thickets. Oh wow, look at this. The whole lake is filled with a lot of deer and antelopes and also wild boars. So this is a sambar deer, which is at a nearby water body, quenching its thirst. And taking a closer look at a young sambar deer. So he's just getting his antlers for the first time, and he has a lot of time to go to become an adult and mate with the females. And also a couple of very interesting birds. We have the greater egret and also the black-headed ibis fishing with a herd of spotted deer in the backdrop. So everyone's busy grazing, and there's plenty of grass around the water body, which attracts a lot of herbivores. And in this, there are a couple of stags, especially the spotted deer stags, which are trying to win over the females, and they are trying to display in front of the females. You can also hear them rutting in the background. So you can see the egret following the sambar deer here. So as and when the sambar is walking in the water, it creates a lot of disturbance on the ground, and also the fishers, they get scared, and they try to pop up and run away, just move away from that place. So that's a very good opportunity for the herons and also the egrets to go for a pricey catch. Having seen so many animals around in the water body, we don't predict any movement of any big cat. Everyone looks very calm and composed here. They're just happily grazing and moving around. So I think it's time for us to move further ahead to see some other animals. So right now we are heading from Pandrapani 1 to Pandrapani 2. So this was the area where the village was situated. You get to see some beautiful tamarind trees, and this village was relocated in 1972. So from 1 to 2 there is not much of distance, but there's a greater possibility of seeing animals here. We have this beautiful bird called the Indian roller here, and it's usually identified by its turquoise blue colored wings and also the neck, which is orangish in color. They're usually called rollers because of their aerobic displays done by the male during the breeding time. From Pandrapani, we've just seen an Indian roller taking off. From here, we'll be heading towards the Navegaon road. So Navegaon was a village inside which was found long time ago and was relocated in 2012 and 13. So this has created a beautiful grassland. So we are heading towards Navegaon road now. So we have a beautiful male peacock displaying, and he is just getting ready for the breeding season. So April is the time when you see most of the peacocks displaying, because that's the time when they are practicing in front of the females, or sometimes you also see them even challenging with the young peacocks. So whosoever has the most vibrant and the beautiful colors and who's good at dancing, they're the ones who will get the mates. So we have just entered the Navegaon Meadows. It's a beautiful grassland. In fact, Navegaon Meadows, when you take a closer look, can be compared to African grasslands with some sparse trees situated here and there. This beautiful bird, which is mourning or cooing, is the Eurasian collared dove, and it is a male. So it's distinguished by its black collar on its neck, and it's one of the largest birds or the largest doves seen in Tadoba. So this also has a longer lifespan of approximately 17 years in the wild. So we have a beautiful nilgai here with a twin, and this is a female nilgai which is moving with the twins. Usually 60 to 70% of its times they litter twins and rarely triplets. Friends, you can see here there are two male nilgais moving around where their body posture looks a little different. So these nilgais are the largest antelopes of Asia, and they are called nilgais because of these males, which look like a little bluish in color. They have a bluish tint on the body, especially when you see them in the sun. And right now this is looking like the male combat, and these nilgais are very much aggressive when it comes to the breeding time. So you can see one of the nilgais raising its tail and walking. Usually they do this most of the times during the breeding season. They also try to keep the other males away from the female herd. We don't see any females around, but there's this congregation that has happened, and one is trying to suppress the other. So you can see two nilgais coming very close to each other here. So the nilgais, compared to the size of the body, they have much smaller horns, and because of the smaller horns, if you think that they don't do much damage, well, these rivals can actually inflict much harm when compared to any other animals. In fact, while they're fighting, while hitting their neck against each other, they can literally pierce through the body of the other nilgais. So this is nothing but the mating ritual, or the ritualized affair, what we call. And in this, you can see the males arching their necks and holding the tails erect. They also stalking around each other in small circles before dropping their knees and engaging into the combats. So whosoever is successful, the male which is successful in proving dominance, will be pushing out the other young or maybe the other males. These males who have lost the combat will go away, but also are observant for any females who are receptive. Whenever the male is engaging in any other combat, the dominant male is busy fighting the other males. These males sneak through and they try to mate with the females. So we just stopped by. We heard a call of a nightjar, and we just stopped to look for it, and we just take a look. I don't think the nightjar is seen anywhere close to the road, so I think we should start moving. We'll start continuing towards 97. Tiny little bird called the grey wagtail. Like you can see in the video, it's always wagging its tail, and that's the reason why it's got its name. And it's surprising to see these grey wagtails, especially in hot months in India, because they are winter migrants. Maybe one of these individuals has stayed back.
So end of the day and end of the safari, we started with a pleasant morning which was almost 27 degrees Celsius, and now it's up to 40 degrees Celsius. We had some beautiful sightings, good behaviors of nilgai were seen, and a small video where we could capture the mud puddling of the butterflies. See, it is not always that we always go into the jungle and look for tigers, but there are certain evidences, mute evidences and signs which the jungle will tell you about different behaviors of wildlife. So stay tuned with us, like, subscribe our YouTube channel, that is TATR 4K Live. Thank you. Bye.